Alrighty, everybody. It is currently Thursday, July 3rd, 3rd on a Thursday. That's pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting, you know what I mean? If you have nothing going on in your life, like I know most people don't, including me, hey, I'm part of the club. Every single group of people I talk shit about, I guess except for maybe like the races of people, I'm part of that club. And even then, I'm basically part of the club, dude. It's especially this summer, I'm especially part of all the clubs, dude. Definitely part of the black club. You know what I mean? There's a few indulgences that they tend to like that I also tend to like. You know, the gay club, I guess a little bit. Jerking off is pretty gay. It's that's I know that's a belief that 12-year-olds hold, but it's also a belief that I hold. Cuz I think 12-year-olds are right, all right? The kids are the future. That's the one thing I've learned. That's the one thing I know for a fact. The children are our future, and I remember when I was 12, people were being like, "Oh, you touch your own dick." They were like, "That's gay," and I was like, "Well, you're right." I don't know if they're still saying that. They're probably saying it, probably even more now, thanks to the Gillisification of America as a whole. So I'm sure they're saying that just as much. You know, the trans. I don't know. I'm a dude and I like tits as well. So boom, also in that club. And if I was a chick, I'd also want to be a dude. That's that's the other, you know what I mean? There's two sides to that club, and I can sympathize with both sides because one, I already am a dude and I love tits, right? And I do kind of already I don't have the biggest man tits, but there's a little bit of chub on there. I've never really had big old man tits before. And that is a shocking thing about losing weight, especially or I guess like losing fat, some people lose muscle, is that when you lose weight, you expect it to all kind of like not super evenly, right? Obviously, your belly's gonna have a little bit more fat and shit, but like relatively evenly melt off your body. It's not like that at all. It's for me personally, it was jacked fucking legs, jacked forearms, no like upper belly fat at all, and then just a ring of fat right around there, and a little bit of tit meat left, which is I know there's a condition called like gynomastia or whatever. Maybe I got a little bit of that, but like I said, I do already have tits. So, and I look, if you're gonna have man tits, you might as well have like the best man tits, like Hunter Schafer style. You know what I mean? Who's the I can't really think of another famous one with big old titties, right? Like Caitlyn doesn't have tits, right? Caitlyn Jenner, who I'm talking about here, she does not have tits, dude. She has fucking pecs that can bench 400 pounds today, and she's 75 years old. But, and then finally, the group that, maybe I've made fun of a fair about, and maybe making fun of it isn't, the right way to phrase it. Maybe denying a genocide that happened to them. Maybe that's the right way to phrase it, but the Jews. And I finally, I'm part of that club too. You know what I mean? In the same way I'm part of the black club. Look, not fully in it, obviously, if you can't tell by my voice. I'm pretty deep in the Jew club though. I do have a pretty I got a bit of a schnoz on me, you know what I mean? And a nice nasally voice. So I was kind of already part of that club, but now I'm fully part of it cuz it's the summer of not spending money, dude. It's the summer of renewing your driver's license and not spending money. It's I called this shit the fuck out. I got my driver's license renewed with me and my mom. We went together, and I was like, "Mom, this is the fucking drive. This is the summer of getting your driver's license renewed." She was like, "It's busy as hell in here." I was like, "You didn't fucking hear, dude." And obviously, I was joking then, but then I turned on Two Bears One Cave with Tim Segunda and Bert Kreidner, and they're talking about getting their licenses renewed too. I'm pretty sure, you know what I mean. Gillis, he's gonna be talking about that shit pretty soon. Joe Rogan, I don't know who else is gonna hop on the Chapel Roan. Maybe she's Brat Summer, or that's Charlie XCX. So, but one of them is gonna hop on that train pretty soon and drop an album or at least a song or at least a like a mini album. You know what I mean? Where it's just like three different versions of the same song on it, and they're all gonna be getting they're all gonna be about getting your driver's license removed. Goddamn, I can't even fucking talk right now. I've been working. What time is it? Or I'm looking at it like I just got done working. No, I worked from like 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., which just proves how much of a pussy I am. because at least like 6 hours of that work was just sitting there and stripping copper wire. But I'm still like, my brain is like, I've never experienced this level of work before. No one has. You know what I mean? And it doesn't really make sense because I do have like an English peasant brain or like a German peasant brain. You know what I mean? Like, I'm incredibly susceptible to propaganda. I believe that we should have a king. I believe that king is divinely ordained by God, but I just don't have like the work part of the peasant brain, which is like the one good part of the peasant brain to have, you know? A lot of people do have that part in their brain where they're just able to fucking turn it off and work. I don't have that part, dude. I fucking wish I did. The entire time I'm working, I'm thinking. I always say I think a lot, but I always put the caveat on there of turned into RFK there for a little second. But I always put the caveat on it that I don't really think about anything significant, right? Like I'm sure Einstein or fucking Isaac Newton also thought constantly, like all the time, 1,000 miles an hour, but they weren't thinking about the shit that I was that I was thinking about, dude. Like I already said, I'm thinking about how it's the fucking summer of driver license renewal. So that's the type of shit I'm thinking about, but still, it like wears out my fucking brain. And it doesn't just wear out my brain, it wears out my body too. For some reason. Like if I just think like even when I'm done doing this podcast, and usually I'm pretty hunched over when I'm doing this podcast, and maybe that's why, but like I'm fucking cramped in like I'm in a fucking ball turret or like I'm in a barrel going over Niagara Falls or something like that. Like I'm usually pretty tucked in. I'm almost in the fetal position every time I record this podcast. But this podcast that I'm recording right now, I'm at my friend's house and he's not here, so I'm recording this on his couch. And so this is going to be like a little bit of a therapy session. You're going to hear about, yeah, I don't know, I've never been molested. Never been molested, which that does hurt a little bit, right? Because I was in the Boy Scouts and I went to fucking Catholic school, and I guess this is like a hack bit, but I was never fucking molested. I never even got fucking, you know what I mean? I never made a pass. I never got a pass made at me by like a Catholic priest or a Boy Scout leader. You know what I mean? None of them were ever like fucking. You got a fat ass, dude. And to be fair, I don't have a fat ass, but I don't know. I've never had a fat ass either, but I don't know, to not even get a compliment, you know what I mean? This is what women must feel like. Like obviously women don't like being catcalled and shit, but like if you're a woman and you never get catcalled, like that has to feel pretty fucking shitty. You know what I mean? And also I do make fun of women a fair amount, so boom. Now I'm in the women camp too, dude. I'm everywhere. I'm everything everywhere all at once, dude. The movie about the Asians. That is the one group of people that besides I do like weird seafood. Like no matter what, if it's seafood, I'm munching on it, and that includes pussies for all the ladies and post-op transgender uh women, dudes, whatever you want to be called. Listening to this, I love weird seafood. You know what I mean? And in the vagina, people always talk about how it like smells like seafood. It kind of fucking looks like one too. Dude. It looks like it looks like a deep water fucking creature, and it does have the pearl. It's basically an oyster or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit. It's not ugly looking, but it's like this is the best we got here, dude. Like this is the thing that people live and die for. Like the pussy. Same with the oyster, dude. People like live and die for oysters. I guarantee at least one fucking like Indonesian slave died during like a pearl diving adventure today. Like getting pearls for a pearl necklace or whatever. And the pussy's the same way where it's like, look, I get it. I've never had an oyster. I've never had pussy before. I'm sure it's fucking delicious. I'm sure wearing pearls feels really good, but it's like this is seriously just like looking at it, you're like this is the thing we live and die for, you know? It's maybe I am gay, you know, maybe I'm coming over the gay side a little bit there. Hey, look, once again in the gay club. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, dude. The pussy is like the pearl or like the oyster of the human body. It's like, look, I know it rules. Everyone says it fucking rules, so it rules, right? But at the same time, dude, it's not that aesthetically pleasing. Sometimes it is. Sometimes, you know what I mean? You get a nice one, nice plump one, but for the most part, you know, I imagine I'm sure women get like plastic surgery on their pussies to make them like look like that, to make them look like a nice front butt or whatever. But for the most part, they're pretty, uh, not gross, but just like unappealing, I guess, right? Or it's not like an outright negative thing, but it's not an outright positive thing either. I like look at it, and it's really more so the idea behind it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Yoko Ono's art, where she just like taped that banana to the wall or whatever, and everyone, not everyone, but a fair amount of people were like, "This is you got to understand the context around it for it to really mean something." You know what I mean? That's what the pussy is. It's a banana duct taped to a wall. If you just saw it on your own, right? If you were just an alien, you'd probably be like, "Yeah, I'm not offended by I'm not happy about it, I'm not offended by it, it's a very neutral thing, but when you understand the context around it, that's when we get into, like it's art, the pussy is art. So, it's it's an oyster, and it's also art at the same time, and that's as deep as we're gonna ever get on this podcast, is comparing women to inanimate objects, which is like everyone's always getting compared to inanimate objects. Like at least women are compared to like flowers and shit like that, dude. Like when I get compared to an inanimate object, it's like a fucking stump. It's like a half ground out stump that's in like the ground of like a shitty suburban lawn or something like that. So hey, women, how about we stop complaining? How about how about we stop with the fucking complaining, women? All right, calling you guys out. And also, by the way, I'm just now remembering this. I leveled a challenge at the women earlier this. I think it was earlier this year, and they're not living up to it, dude. The challenge was, I will fully respect women if they commit some sort of like mass murder, at least one mass shooting. I can't remember the exact specs of it, but it was it was something along the line of committing a bunch of mass shootings. Like that'll show me you got it in you, right? And I feel like we have been close, especially with all these like whatever it's called, like No Kings protest. There was a lot of postmenopausal women there who were like, you know what I mean? Like their hormones are fucking. They're going through like the second puberty or whatever the fuck they call it, where their hormones are really raging. So I was kind of hopeful then. I was like, maybe they'll get one. Maybe they'll get one off on us. And look, it wasn't mass shootings necessarily. Like I was saying, you could drive a car into like a crowd of people. Classic, you know what I mean? Everyone does it. It's a very fun thing to do. I get it. And I play GTA. All right, I get driving a car into a crowd of people is pretty fun. They didn't do that though. They never did any of that. And I was really waiting on it, you know what I mean? And they also had ample opportunity. Speaking of protests, when like the people in LA like shut down the highways to like protest whatever the fuck. They don't even know what they were protesting, so I don't really know either. But whatever the fuck they were protesting, that would have been like an opportune time for like a fucking, like like I said, like a postmenopausal, like Xanax addicted mom from fucking Beverly Hills to just like lose her mind, to just have a full manic breakdown and just drive right into that fucking crowd. But that is the thing. A lot of these protests, we got some big dogs in there. You know what I mean? We got some bulls. We got some absolute. We got some large individuals there. Some large, not so sturdy. You know what I mean? Like there's certain types of fat people where you look at that. You know what I mean? Like offensive linemen, and you're like, all right, he's pretty fucking fat, but that's like a sturdy fat. These are not, you know what I mean, the sturdy types of fat. They got some real peg legs going on. They got some real broomsticks that they're walking around on, and then just like a bowling ball body. So I feel like for that reason, it was just an opportune time for a woman to just have like a manic breakdown and just drive through a crowd of people. But none of them did that, and that to me says they don't have the initiative to do it. Right? It's at this point, it's about completing the challenge that I leveled against them. So, and I know that they heard it. I know that every woman, at least in America, heard it. Maybe globally they heard it as well. And to be fair, that's a little bit more of a challenge if you're a woman living in like Saudi Arabia or something like that, because they're not getting in, you know what I mean, the go-go mobiles too much. They're not driving around the Batmobile or anything like that. So it's a little more of a challenge if you live there. But like if you're an American woman, it's easy, easy. that's that's 5 minutes. Go find. There's gonna be a protest somewhere. Guarantee you. If you live near like a major city, there's gonna be a protest somewhere. It might be union workers going on a strike. It might be some people who are, you know what I mean, just a bunch of fucking fat people from Twitter that got together for some reason to decide. And I do support the fats protesting, especially during the summertime. You know what I mean? Because that's when the weight starts to come off. You know. So I do support the fats protesting. That's my favorite part of the protests. You know what I mean? It's a blazing hot day. It's fucking 104 degrees in Los Angeles or whatever, and the fats are going out to protest. And I'm like, hell yeah, fats, because that's how you lose weight. That's the best way to lose weight is to do it like passively. You know what I mean? Like fucking, eating like celery and fucking carrots every day and going to the gym and working out for 2 hours and doing cardio and lifting and all that. That shit fucking sucks to do. Like I don't care how much you love it, it fucking sucks to do. But like if you can lose weight passively, that should be the goal. And that's what the fats at the protests are doing. You know what I mean? And I should just say the protesters at the because they're all fat. It's we live in America. These people live a pretty sedentary lifestyle. That's kind of why they're going to the protest in the first place, because they don't have anything else to do. And so they're all fat. And so I feel like it was an opportune time for the fats to lose weight, and also an opportune time for a woman to commit some sort of mass murder, or manslaughter. You could be like, hey, I had a psychotic break. I kind of blacked out, didn't really know what I was doing. Also, I was on Xanax. Boom, manslaughter. I mean, there's legal loopholes here, women. You could do it, especially as a woman, just being like, yeah, I don't know, it was my hormones. That's the classic go-to for women. I've never seen it happen in the court of law, but I feel like it could work, you know what I mean? Especially if you get the right judge, like a real receding hairline, like skinny fat cuck judge. You could definitely get him to, bump down that first degree murder to like third degree, or hopefully, I don't know, premeditated manslaughter or something like that. I don't know if that's a crime, but if it is, if you're a woman and you got a nice cuck judge and you're on in there for really anything, just blame it on the hormones, and it'll be like no one understands what women go through. And that's I look at some of these guys, right? And obviously some of like these male feminists or whatever you want to call them are doing it for the pussy. But then I look at some of these other guys, like I was saying, receding hairline, skinny fat, like patchy facial hair dudes. And I'm like, you're clearly not doing it for the pussy because you don't think about, but you and it's not even like I'm calling them gay. I'm just calling them asexual, which is infinitely worse. That's a way worse insult to be called asexual as opposed to gay. And so I'm calling them asexual. So I know they're not doing it. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know. Maybe it's because their hormones are all fucked up too, and that's why they're skinny fat, and they still like that's awful. If you're gonna have a receding hairline, like I have a receding hairline, but at least I got some meat on the bones. I got some fat on the bones, but I got a little bit of meat on there too. And that's what you got to do if you're gonna have a receding hairline, because everyone associates receding hairline with like being a man, and having high testosterone and shit like that. So if you have a receding hairline, you can't be having man boobs, dude, because that combination is the fucking worst. You can have a receding hairline and be like fat, right? But you got to have some muscle underneath that fat. Speaking of fat, dude, I'm dealing with a cat right now. Worst animal on earth. I was talking shit about the pugs, dude. Cats might be a little bit worse. They're the biggest assholes. They're the least social animal on earth. I don't know why we decided to go with them. That was an awful decision. I don't know why we went with cats. And they're not like super cold, right? I feel like a lot of people think that about cats. They don't understand anything social. And that's why you can't hit a cat. You can hit a dog and it'll be like, "All right, well that guy hit me because I fucked up." But if you hit a cat, that cat's just going to be like, "Oh fuck, this guy's this guy's trying to kill me." There's nothing positive about them. Oh, they eat mice and rats and stuff. It's like, "Yeah, dude, so do Vietnamese people, but I don't keep one in my barn." All right? Vietnamese people will eat fucking everything, but I don't keep one in my bar. That might be better. I might prefer a fucking like skinny Vietnamese dude. Just I don't even speak his language. He's just over like all right, just chilling in the fucking barn, eating all the snakes and rats and mice and stuff. Even the occasional cat that manages to get its way in there, munching on all those things. Maybe an owl or two. I'd way rather have that than a cat, dude. Because maybe every once in a while I invite him in the house. I'm like, look, dude, come in the house, cook me up some whatever the fuck Vietnamese people eat. Not the shit that, not like the real shit that Vietnamese people eat, but whatever you sell to like the fat white tourists that go there to fuck questionably aged women. Like, give me, give me that food. You've been sweating outside in a tank top, smoking cigarettes all day, in a squat for 24 hours. I don't know how the fuck you did it. Come inside, cook me a little bit of that makdakto or whatever, whatever you got going on, and I'll munch down on it. And that's a thing that the Asians have unlocked recently. Or I don't know if it's recent. I don't know what it is, but they unlocked tank tops and they were like, this fucking rules. It's like when you're 12 years old and you get like your first undershirt or whatever for the first time and you're like, this is the fucking best thing. This is barely even clothes, dude. This is the best it can fucking be. I don't know why the Asians just pretty recently unlocked the tank top. I don't know how long tank top have existed, but I feel like it's a pretty like maybe 70s phenomena is when the Asians unlocked the tank top and they've just been going hog wild with it, you know what I mean? They culture that hey, everyone blames the white people for doing all the cultural appropriations, the Viet people and the Thai people and just all the Asians, all like all the trash Asians basically. You never see a Japanese wearing a tank top unless he's in the fucking yakuza or whatever, but like all the trash Asians, the Filipinos, the Indonesians, shit like that, they unlocked the tank top and they culturally appropriated it from the Italians. And I don't know how similar the environment of Southeast Asia is to Italy. I feel like Italy's a lot drier, dude. I feel like that's why the Southeast Asians have really gone full force into the fucking tank top. It's just so humid out there, dude. And it's humid as fuck where I live in Kansas, too. It's humidity is insane. And the reason it's humid, it's not humid because it's like over there in the summertime, right? Like that's their monsoon season. They get like fucking like feet of rain in like a day. They'll get like 20 feet of fucking rain in a day. It's not even raining out here, dude. Or it is a little bit, but not too much. It's just like it's humidity from corn and like soybeans and shit like that. Like I guess those plants, I don't guess, I know that they release like water out of their leaves and shit. And that's where we're getting our humidity from, dude. It's not even like the fucking rivers are full and the fish are flopping out of it, dude. It's humidity from corn. That's like the worst type of It's like maybe the second worst type of humidity. The worst type of humidity is gym humidity. And that's humidity from sweat. It's by far the worst type of humidity. And it's not even the smell, dude. It's like somehow humidity from sweat is like 4 times heavier. Like you walk into a gym where people are really going hard and like 4 pounds of fucking like weight come down on you. just just from the fucking humidity, dude. It's crazy. And that's and in defense of the Southeast Asians, I don't know, in defense, I'm sure they don't care. That's they don't care really about anything, dude. They're just yelling at people and hitting them with broomsticks and stuff. But in their defense, they basically are in gyms all the time, especially like the Indians. I guess those aren't really Southeast Asians, but they're basically in a fucking gym all the time. It's a bunch of people like crammed together in a fucking, not even a concrete box, like a fucking, like a mud box. And they're all fucking crammed in there together all day, every day, just 100 million people in 10 houses that they all have to share. So they are basically in the fucking gym all day, just getting that real humidity beaten down on them, dude, just weighing on their shoulders. And so I do understand the tank tops a little bit in that regard. And also tank tops, they do just rule. Like over in Southeast Asia, like they really got a hold on the women there. Like not like full on like Middle East shit where they're like beating the shit out of them and lighting them on fire and stuff, but they got a decent hold. And I don't even think they're hitting them. I think they're just, you know what I mean, doing that like shut up, bitch, like not full on like beating the shit out of them. Maybe every once in a while you got to really give you really got to give your Vietnamese wife a good punching, but they just have like almost how you treat kids like almost how we treat kids in America, I should say, where it's like you can't really hit your kids anymore, but you can be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up." Like you can still do that to a kid there or here, and you can still do that to women over there. You can still be like, "Shut, hey, I told you to shut your mouth." And I think that's why the tank tops are working so well over there, and that's why the Italians, even now they still wear the tank top because the Italians, they'll really get after their women. They'll same with the blacks. They'll really get after their women, being like, "Hey, stop! Hey, don't do that." Sometimes I heard a recent story where a guy took it a step too far, but they, for the most part, the Southeast Asians, Italians, blacks, they keep it chill. It's just like a hey. All right, I should specify like American blacks or American black people. I don't. Some people get mad when you say blacks, but hey, I'm talking about American black people here. I'm sure in Africa It's a little bit more Middle Eastern, if you know what I mean. I'm sure they got women in like bamboo cages that they're accusing of witchcraft or whatever the fuck. But over here in America, you know, they're just hitting them with and that's why they can still rock tank tops. Like, look around, dude. Look around. Go to like a fucking your local Walmart or whatever. The groups of people who like keep their women on like a leash. The groups of people, you know, like like white dudes that drive big trucks, they're always wearing tank tops, right? And that's because they tell their women to shut the fuck up. Not saying it's right, not saying they should be doing it. I'm just saying I'm just saying that's what they do. Like you look around all the groups of people that are rocking the tops, dude, the T tops, they've got they've got their women really under control. And you know, like I'm saying, not the greatest thing on earth. It's not the best to treat women as children, but I mean, a lot of women do want to be treated as children, right? Like, what's like that TikTok thing, like the princess treatment or whatever, where like, I don't know. I've never even seen the actual videos. I've seen people like making fun of the videos, but it's like, I guess it's like you go to a restaurant and like the waiter asks like the chick what she wants, and the dude's like, she'll have the fucking this, and that, right? Like it's your fucking dad ordering you chicken fingers at a fucking Mexican restaurant, which was never me, by the way. Never been a picky eater before in my entire life, you know? It's and that's the thing. Like I'm fat, but at least I enjoy like all spectrums of food, right? I enjoy Asian food, Mexican food. I don't care like how deep we're going into the culture. I'm gonna be munching on the food, you know. And like that's why I'm kind of okay with being fat. But if you're getting fat off eating like fucking barbecue, Lay's potato chips and chicken fingers and fries and shit, that's embarrassing, right? It's you only like three foods, but you somehow consume them 24/7. You consume 5,000 calories of fucking, you know, chicken tenders and toast or whatever the fuck these picky eaters eat. You know, it's embarrassing. I I'm almost like a regal fat. I'm not I'm not like a full on like William Howard Taft fat, but I'm a regal fat. I I enjoy cuisine. I enjoy all natures of it. And I think that's part of the reason I'm fat. You know, my parents will go to like the Chinese grocery store or whatever, and they'll pick up like some crazy fucking I don't know. What are they flavoring chips with nowadays? So, an Asian's got to hit me up and let me know what's the next level. I know they were doing seafood for a while there, like shrimp and squid and shit like that. I've had a few of those, but you got to let me know what else they're flavoring food with nowadays, like tree roots or whatever the fuck. And I'll be munching on those things, being like, "Yo, this is fucking good." I'll I'll try all manner of foods, and I'll probably like most of them. And I think that's the reason I'm fat. I just like food as a whole. But like these people that just eat like just like the most boring shit. Like if you like getting fat off McDonald's is ridiculous, dude. Like I eat one McDonald's like chicken sandwich or fucking cheeseburger or whatever, and I'm like, all right, that's enough. Like if you're getting fat by eating fucking steak and whiskey and smoking cigars all day, okay, that's one thing. But if you're getting fat off like Burger King, dude, like if if the only food I had access to was fast food, I would probably be skinnier than I am now, or skinnier, less fat than I am now. Maybe I should specify. I would be less fat than I am now. And that's just because like fast food, it's so boring. It's all the same thing. Like even all like the chemicals and like MSG and whatever the fuck they put in there to make it taste good. After a while, that shit like really wears off. You know, like I went on a road trip with my family and that we just kept getting like fast food, right? Like from Wendy's and McDonald's. And after a while, I was like, dude, I cannot eat this shit anymore. I'm a fat that needs a lot of things. And I feel like that's the type of fat that you should be. If you're gonna be a fat that enjoys all the foods. Don't be a fat that enjoys, you know, just fucking spaghetti with ketchup sauce or whatever the fuck these people are eating. Be a fat that enjoys everything. You know, if you're gonna only enjoy a few foods, then eat them like sparingly. But like me, dude, I'll have fucking three different genres of food in a day for each of the meals I eat. I don't really eat three meals. I eat two meals, and I don't really eat snacks either. I've been off the snacks lately. I don't know, just something about it. Something about like eating food in between meals. It's been putting me off recently. Maybe that's maybe I'm getting a little bit anorexic. Hey, and that's a good thing, dude. Like it's I've seen this a couple times of like fat people that are like, "Oh, I'm anorexic," and people are like, "Yeah, you shouldn't be losing weight that way, and it'll be like a 500-pound person, right? And people are like, "Oh yeah, you're anorexic. You should probably just, I don't know, stay 500 pounds instead of starving yourself." It's like, no, dude, you should look. You shouldn't be starving yourself if you weigh like, I don't know, like 120 pounds or some shit like that. But if you're 500 pounds, starving you is, it's not only not going to kill you, it's going to be better for you, and it's probably going to be better for you mentally, right? Just like the mental strain of being that fucking fat is, it's tough, dude. Like the biggest I ever was probably around 230 pounds, and even that, I was like, dude, it's very fucking hard being even as fat as I was. Like it's a tall task, and 230 pounds is like, I don't know, like if you're 5'10", like 230 pounds, it can be 5'10", 230 pounds pure muscle. I'm significantly shorter than that. I'm significantly so. For me, my 230 was maybe near some people's, like, I don't know, 280, 300, somewhere around there. So it's difficult being that way, like just mentally. And I think the mental like strain that anorexia puts on you is lesser than the mental strain that being 500 pounds puts on you. Just being 500 pounds all the time, like you have to think to walk if you're 500 pounds. Like you have to flex every muscle in your body at the same time to take two fucking steps if you're 500 pounds. So if you're, look, if you're that fat and you're concerned about like an eating disorder that isn't eating too much, right? Like if you're 500 pounds, be fucking bulimic, dude. Be anorexic. Like literally anything is better than what you're doing. Like I hate to break it to you. I know, especially in America, this is, I talked about this. A lot of healthcare is based around like making like extending the lives of fat people, but I don't, I don't know. I feel like being 500 pounds is just, it's so tough, dude. Just walking around, even like Walmart. If you're like 500 pounds in Walmart, like you feel bad, dude. I feel pretty good when I go to Walmart for the most part. Today I didn't, dude. Today I went to a Walmart with like all the hottest people in the world. I always thought hot people shopped at like Target and shit like that. But I went to this fucking Walmart and it was the hottest, at literally every single one of them was like the hottest person, dudes, chicks. They were all hot. Not all hot, but for the most part, pretty fucking good looking. Like I went to the self checkout and I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, I was concerned. I was like, is someone playing a fucking, I thought I slipped into like the Truman Show for a second. I was like, all right, someone has to be fucking with me right now. It was like all fucking, even like the employees. That there was maybe a couple uggos in there, but like they were all pretty fucking hot. So that's one of the only times I've ever gone to Walmart and like really felt bad about myself. I was like, Jesus, everyone in there. Like there's this fucking like Jamaican, or I don't know if he was Jamaican. He just had, he had like those Jamaican dreads where it's like they're super like kind of thick and like, I don't know, unwieldy or however you want to describe them. That he had like those type of dreads, you know what I mean? Like the fucking, I don't know. There's some character. There's some like Simpsons fucking character that has hair like that. Like Sideshow Bob almost type shit. And and he was like, but he was like a skinny, like tall, like fucking hot, like black dude. And I was like, all right, well that's one. That's, hey, there's gonna be some anomalies at a Walmart. And then as I walked through it, like everyone there was everyone there was hot. I saw like five hot chicks in a Walmart. I've seen five hot chicks in a Target. I've even seen five hot chicks in a Five Below, and I've only been to Five Below like twice in my life, but I saw hot chicks there, and there was like multiple like very, very, very fucking attractive women there. Like not even with their boyfriends and shit, just like alone. And I was like, what's what the fuck is going on here, dude? It was very, it was unnerving, right? Like that's ultimately what it comes down to. It was very unnerving. I was like, this isn't supposed, this isn't like the way things are supposed to work. I'm not mad at it, but like this isn't, the balance of the world is off, right? It's like if you drove through like downtown New York and there was no traffic or whatever, you'd be like, I mean, I'm not mad at there being no traffic, but like what's going on? Like there's something is up. Something's weird. There's something fishy going on, dude. I might have to turn into fucking Scooby Doo or I don't know, Batman. Like I felt like I needed to turn into Batman in that moment because I was like, this is concerning. It got to the point where it's like it wasn't just like one or two hot people and then the rest were the standard the standard like masses that are usually there. And I do use the massive masses that are usually there. It was like all hot people. I was like, this is maybe it's a bad sign for the economy, right? Because usually hot people are at like Target and shit like that, like I was saying, or like even like Whole Foods or fucking whatever, Trader Joe's, shit like that. But like hot people being at Walmart, that's a bad sign for the economy, I think, because it's like you're fucking hot. You should be having someone else fucking paying for all this shit. Maybe that's what it was. I did kind of go in the middle of the day when you'd imagine that the hot people wouldn't be working. You know what I mean? They'd just be living off like their boyfriends or girlfriends or wives or husbands or whatever. But I don't know, still, it was like I don't it was just weird. It was concerning. It was yeah, it just everything felt off. It was just one of those moments, it was like nothing seems right here. It's fishy, suspicious, unusual, and it just I was like, "Am I having a mental break here, dude? Did I accidentally drive to a fucking Target when I meant to drive to a Walmart?" And just all hot people, like, right? I'm talking about Target, a lot of hot people at Target. This this Walmart had more hot people than the average Target, dude. It was all all attractive men and women, all of them, all of them. Maybe not all of them. Maybe I missed an Uggo here or there, but it was incredible. Employees were all attractive. They were all around maybe my age up until like early 30s, shit like that, and they were all like pretty decent looking. Like if you go to a Walmart and you see a bunch of hot people, you can be like, all right, well, this is just weird. But at least the employees will be like the nice, fucking like ugly, like turkey necked 70-year-old women that I'm used to. It wasn't even that, dude. Like I went to the self checkout and there was like a 6'5" black guy, like with like a Walmart vest on, like a pretty decent looking dude. And it was just overall, I don't know if there's any economists listening to this. I don't know if Gary Vaynerchuk or whoever the leading economist is in America is listening to this, but I don't know. Check that out, dude. Go to your local Walmart. I'm sure like the super rich dudes, right? They're not going to Walmart too much, but I would recommend that, right? Like if you're working finance or fucking whatever, finance, finance the economy. I don't know how any of that shit works. Banking maybe. You probably haven't been to a Walmart in a while, like just a standard regular old Walmart. But go to one right now and let me know if you see a bunch of hot people there, and let me know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because I'm really feeling like it's a bad thing, dude. I really feel like I'm seeing something that I shouldn't be seeing. Like I feel like even during the 2008 financial crisis, the hot people were still like holding out and still going to Target and fucking Trader Joe's or whatever. What's the other one? Sprouts, going to going to fucking Sprouts. But now they're going to Walmart, which sorry. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds here, dude. I know everyone's talking about how no one can afford a house or college and no one can find a job anymore, but I feel like I've seen all that shit on the internet. I have experienced a little bit of myself. I've applied for a ton of jobs, haven't really gotten any of them. But that's why I'm recording this podcast. That's why I'm shirtless and high and on my friend's couch. But you know, it's one of those things that you're like, all right, well maybe I am one of the few people that's experiencing this, but for the most part, things aren't as bad as people say. I think things might be worse than people are saying right now. Cause just seeing like a chick that you're like, why aren't you like in Dubai getting shit on by like a fucking trillionaire oil prince? Right? Like seeing a chick that's like that hot is at a Walmart in like the self checkout buying like milk or whatever, not buying like I don't know, like some shit you run into Walmart real quick for like Skittles or whatever, buying like milk from like buying like their daily or their weekly groceries from Walmart. That's concerning, dude. That's not a good sign. I don't know what it's not a good sign for. I don't know if it's not a good sign for the economy or society or culture or whatever the fuck, but it's just generally I feel like the vibe I'm getting from it is overall something's going to go down. And maybe it's a sign of World War III. I don't know, maybe I don't maybe the Iranians are like propagandizing people into going to Walmart as opposed to Target for some reason, but it's not good. I think if you're listening to this now, I'm going a little bit Nostradamus here. I'm making a prediction. Hot people are going to continue to go to Walmart and things are going to get a lot worse. It's I'll do a check-in maybe next week if I remember to do it, or probably tomorrow, to be honest with you. Next time I go to a Walmart, I'll take a tally real quick, keep it on my phone. You know, that's nothing unusual for me. Whenever I see a hot chick, I'm usually doing something on my phone, whether it's taking a picture of her feet or scrolling the weather app and pretending to talk to people, usually on my phone, so it's not that unusual of a circumstance for me. So I'll take a tally, see how many hot chicks I see how many hot dudes I see, cuz it's less of a bad sign to see a hot dude there, right? Because as a chick, you can kind of just get like a rich boyfriend and like leech off him for a while. But like being a hot dude at a Walmart, that's pretty regular. But hot chicks at Walmart, that's a sign of something negative, you know? Just like regular suburban fucking like hot blonde chicks at a Walmart, it's they exclusively shop at Target, I thought that's exclusively where they went to shop. You know, if I see one in a Home Depot or a fucking Lowe's or like a Harbor Freight or whatever, I'll know we're really fucked and I just won't even talk about it. I'll just be like, yeah, I saw a hot chick buying like fucking treated 2x4s at Home Depot. We are Something bad is gonna happen, dude. Like if you see a chick on a construction crew that's not like severely overweight and clearly a lesbian, also a bad sign. So I don't know. Keep me updated if anyone else has experienced this phenomena firsthand. Phenomenon, however the fuck it, however you say that one. If you've seen it firsthand, dude, please let me know because this is scary. It's I've either lost my mind completely and now I think every chick I see is hot, which honestly we weren't that far off from that in the first place. It was about a 90% hit rate before, but this was like 100% hit rate. It was like everyone fucking here is hot. I did see a old fat lady buying chocolate milk, but once we get once we're talking like post 50 years old, they're kind of all ugly. No offense if you're a 50-year-old woman. And they shouldn't be hot either. 50-year-old women should not be hot. They should not be. I shouldn't see. There should be like 3 50-year-old chicks that I see a year that I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Getting my dick hard. My balls are getting a little big, swinging a little low in my pants. The pendulum is growing a little bit. I should see that like 3 times a year, but I see it far too often, because that's the thing about like surgery face chicks is like, yeah, we all notice it. We all know that you have plastic surgery, but it's still like, it still activates that like monkey, like caveman part of your brain that's like big, smooth forehead, good sex or whatever, right? It activates that part of your brain still, that's the unfortunate thing about surgery face chicks because we all know that they have plastic surgery and I don't know, I personally don't like it, right? Like when I see a chick with plastic surgery, I'm like, just why you I don't understand it at all. I'm like, who are you doing this for? Maybe they're not going for me. Clearly they're not going for me. They're not trying to impress me or make me think that they're attractive, but it's still like I imagine most dudes are probably similar to me in the sense that it's like, yeah, just don't be 400 pounds and have a dick. And I think, I think we're pretty, and even the having a dick thing, as long as I don't see the dick, I'm fine. Right? So just don't be 400 pounds and have a dick. And I think we're pretty, I'm going to find you attractive. Right. And but I guess there's some dudes that aren't that way. And to those dudes, I say, stop being gay because that's gay. It's gay to, it's not even gay. It's something beyond that, and it's not asexual. It's a step further than that, and it's far worse, right? And I don't mean being gay is bad, but like it's way worse to just be like, yeah, I don't find like 95% of chicks hot. It's not gay, but and it's not asexual. It's just weird. It's like what are you talking about? I I do not understand you in any way, shape, or form. Right? I seriously, I cannot fucking understand you. That's a realm of being a man that I will never, maybe not never, but like for the most part, I probably won't be venturing into that realm that much, and I'm glad I'm not. I'm glad when I walk through a fucking when I'm anywhere in public and I see a chick, I can be like, yo, that's a hot chick. That's like a good thing. That's like a good, I don't know if it's a skill, an inherent trait, whatever you want to call it, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have that skill, whatever it is. It's it's positive. It improves your life. It improves your life to be like, fucking dude, all chicks are hot. This is it's insane. It just makes your life so much better to have have whatever that is inside of you, because it's just because if you're walking and you see like an ugly chick or whatever, you're like, well, that chick's ugly. Chicks are supposed to be hot, right? I don't I don't know. I'm just saying. I think it's good to think that all chicks, for the most part, are hot. I think that's a positive thing to have in your life. Maybe it's like some mental conditioning that you have to do. Maybe you have to wake up and do your like daily affirmations, and you're like, every woman I see that has tits and is not 742 pounds is attractive, right? Maybe that's something you have to do in order to gain that skill. To have that thing in your brain, whatever it is. Figure out how to get that thing in your brain, and your life will massively improve. I feel like that's one of the main reasons why we're experiencing so much like male mental illness and like, I don't know, depression, loneliness, all that shit. It's because these dudes aren't horny enough, right? And I guess they're not horny enough in the right way. Like they're horny for like, I don't know, like jerking off to porn and like gooning and shit, like whatever the fuck. But they're not horny for like actual women, dude. You need to be horny for like just like an average woman that you see in the store. You need to like have that thing in your brain that to be like, let's fucking go. You need to have that in you. That will cure all your mental illnesses, dude. Fuck the therapy. Fuck the fucking whatever pills they give you that literally give you dementia and make your dick not work. Fuck all that shit. And start just being like, yeah, every chick I see is hot, and I feel like that will massively, massively improve your life. Ignore fucking, Andrew Huberman and all these fucking self help guys. Ignore all those fucking assholes and listen to me, all right? Because listen to me. Listen to the guy whose fucking tits are resting on his belly right now, all right? Because I have the answers. I I have the fucking answers. I know what's up. All right. I swear. Just try it out. Try it out for like a day. Even if you don't think the chick is actually hot, right? That you see, even if your dick isn't getting hard, just be like, no, I'm wrong. I am wrong. That chick is hot, and I want to fuck her. Just get that in your brain, and your life will massively improve. And I don't mean treat every woman like you want to fuck her, but just have that in the back of your brain of just being like, yeah, this chick is totally hot. I'm not gonna like hit on her or anything. I'm not gonna be like, give me your number. Go fuck me in the janitor's closet. You can't be doing that, but just be like, yeah, let's go. Life is fucking good. That chick's hot. I'm at Walmart right now. I'm buying 5-gallon buckets. I'm buying hot pockets. I'm buying whatever the fuck. life life is good, dude. I'm buying a new fucking part for my motor at AutoZone. There's a 40-year-old woman working behind the counter. Yeah, her hair's like obviously dyed. Yeah, she does have like kind of a weird neck, but like I'd still fuck her, right? Just do that and just have that in your mind, and your life will be better. You'll sleep easier at night for sure. Right? Because that expends a lot of energy. And maybe this is a weight loss tip as well. Because I've been losing a fair amount of weight. I haven't really been eating anything. I guess I've been eating less, but I feel like part of it is also just my embrace of seeing chicks and being like, "Fuck yeah, let's go. This is this is what I as a man was built for." Embrace that part of you. It's all these people talk about like the paleo diet or eat like your ancestors eat, dude. I don't know how much that is going to help you, but if you think like your ancestors thought of just being like, I just need to fuck all the time. If you just do that, I think that'll put you further along on your weight loss journey than eating like low calorie tortillas or whatever the fuck you're doing, right? And the other thing is, it is a bit of motivation. It is a bit of motivation, just to think every chick is hot and just to be like, not horny all the time, but just, yeah, no, horny is the right word. That definitely was the right word in that instance. Just to be, yeah, just like not fully bricked up, right? You can't be walking around with a boner and stuff. I've done it before, but really only works if you have a small dick, which I fortunately do have. There's really not as many downsides to having a small dick as people say. I don't believe the big dick propaganda for a second. Having a small dick benefits doesn't ever get in my way. My dick has never impeded me in doing anything, even sex, right? Even I am a virgin, but it's not because I have a small dick. It's because I'm generally ugly and short and have a pretty off-putting personality and demeanor as a whole. My dick hasn't stopped me from doing any of that, right? I don't know how much better it makes you when you're fucking, right? I don't know how many points it adds. Just eat some pussy. All right, get over it. Be a fucking man. Eat the fucking pussy. All right. And yeah, it just doesn't get in my way. If I get hard, it's like, yeah, I can just real quick like tuck it up into my waistband and no one's gonna see like a big bulge or anything. It might look a little bit weird. And even if I have a full hard on, like if I'm sitting down, and this is more so due to being fat than it is to having a small dick, but like if I'm sitting down and I have a full rager, I can like pretty well hide that thing. Like even you could be looking at me full frontal, right? Like through a two-way mirror or whatever. Like I'm getting interrogated, and you'd be like, is he what's going is his dick hard? Is it not hard? What what's going on in there? Is that something from his pocket poking over there? Like I having a small dick and also being fat allows you to hide a boner pretty well, especially when you're sitting down. Like when you're sitting down, you don't even have to do the tuck it up into the waistband. And maybe that is a bit of a downside that if your dick is any smaller than mine, which my dick isn't that small, but it's not it's definitely not even average. But like if you have a dick that's like too small to like reach the waistband, that can be a little bit of a problem. But I feel like at that point you've unlocked some other methods. You've unlocked like the ability to use different skills, different stealth skills in hiding your hard penis from the world. And so I feel like don't fall for the big dick propaganda. Don't believe it for a fucking I don't think there's any upside to it other than just having a big dick, which probably does rule pretty fucking hard. But I think other than that, it's yeah. It I think the only upside of having a big dick is just like kind of knowing you do. I think that's truly the only upside to it. I don't think there's a whole ton of other upsides to it. I'm sure, women and I guess also gay dudes, I'm sure they like a bigger dick, but I mean other than that, it's there's no upside to it. Like if you can create skills with your mouth. You can develop a skill with your mouth that outweighs having a small dick, right? And that doesn't just go for sex. That goes for life in general, right? Like people talk about like big dick energy, just like being confident all the time. You can develop like just a way you talk. I certainly haven't, but you can. I'm sure there is a way to develop a way where you talk and it's just like I have a small dick, but like people are looking at my bulge being like, this guy talks like he has a big dick, but he has a small dick. And that doesn't mean go around telling everyone you have a big dick. Just kind of act like you have a big dick and then, use your mouth skills to to act like you have a big dick. And, people will believe it, right? And obviously, when the pants come off at the end of the day, you're still going to have a small dick. When you still, I fuck a chick for the first time, she's still gonna be like, smaller than I thought it would be. But other than that, it's it's there. The big dick propaganda is complete bullshit. I feel like having a big dick sets you up for a worse life than it does, or than having a small dick. Because if you have a small dick, you gotta grind. Like I was saying, developing those skills with your mouth, whether it's talking, eating pussy, sucking dick, eating ass, sucking balls, whatever, sucking tits, whatever it may be, it sets you up for a better life, right? Just being able to talk well, like that's I don't talk super well, but if this was like a big dick dude doing this podcast, it would just be like, and it wouldn't be just like this fucking maybe not entertaining, maybe not good or funny in any way, but just the pure amount of information that's not good information. It's not positive to anyone's life, right? But just like the pure amount of content I'm able to produce by talking, I would credit in part to my small dick. The other part obviously is being short, and then third part being fat. I think people overestimate uh the how much fat plays into being funny. Because I've met some really fat motherfuckers that are not funny at all. They have other personality traits for sure. Certainly, if you're fat, for the most part, big fat dudes, they do have a personality. Especially if they played football, they definitely have a personality. But they're not always funny. I feel like people overestimate that. I feel like being short is maybe more important than being funny than being fat. Especially now when fucking everyone's fat. Like in America, I think being short is gonna help, is gonna boost you more in that department. And so Sorry for the air conditioner in the background. I don't know if anyone can hear that. It's you'd think that the loudness of an air conditioner would correlate to how much cold air it produces. This seems to be the opposite of doing that. I don't think I felt a cool breeze since the entire time I've been in here. I think it's maintained a steady 75 degrees, which is fine by me. Not when I'm going to sleep though, but like I know some people are like, I need my house at 60 degrees at all times. It's like, do you really? You need your house at 60 degrees at all time. That's weird. It's odd. I can chill at 75 degrees. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's because I've lost a little bit of weight, but I feel like I'm more tolerant of heat than the average person. Like today I had like three or four different people being like, that heat's a bitch, isn't it? Like I was working outside too. I was doing like manual labor. I wasn't just walking from like Little Caesars to to Wingstop or whatever. Like I was outside like working for real, and I was like, yeah, it's hot, but it's like just drink water and you'll be fine. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of my mind. Maybe I just don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But the first article of today. This is a pretty funny article. Nice little 4th of July article. Esparto fireworks explosions. 7 people remain unaccounted for, 2 injured. 7 people. I think the 7 people that are unaccounted for are the people that set the fucking fire off that like caused this or firework explosion. So 7 people remain unaccounted for days after multiple explosions obliterated a firework facility Tuesday in the Esparto area of Yolo County. Cal Fire said the explosions and fire that followed caused nearby evacuations and power outages. It began with a call of a structure fire at 5:49 p.m. along County Road 23 and County Road 86A as Livecopter 3 was heading to the area. It could already see a massive plume of black smoke from miles away. Cal Fire crews who were responding to a fire in Vacaville, around 25 miles away, told KCRA 3 that they saw the smoke plume and began directing personnel that way, dude. They thought this was just like some redneck gender reveal of like some fucking guy set a fucking field on fire. God, we really got to deal with this shit again. And as they're pulling up, it's just fucking it's boom, dude. And I have to imagine this isn't like just individual fireworks going off. This isn't that one scene in The Lord of the Rings where Merry and Pippin set the cart of fireworks off and it's like they're like shooting into the air and like doing all the cool explosions and stuff. I do think that this was like a Beirut style explosion if 2 people are dead. But people are idiots. Like if you die due to fireworks, I guess maybe this scenario isn't the best example of that. But if you're dying due to fireworks, if you're getting your hand blown off too, you were gonna die young, or you were gonna lose your hand in another way. Like, because seriously, how unless you're using like some Asian shit, like some shit that has absolutely no safety standards on it, you shouldn't be blowing your hand off with a fire. Like every firework that's powerful enough to like kill a person or like blow some appendage off their body has a fuse that's like 18 feet long. Like the mortars and shit, they're all they're all like 90 feet long, right? It's if you're doing that, kind of seems like it was exactly your fault. Like I said, unless you're in Southeast Asia, then it was your fault that you lost a limb or your life. Right? The people that have experienced that, they're not going to be able to do anything about it, right? Because you either died or you lost your hand and you can't type. So not really threatened by any of these people. Oh, you're going to come to my house and you're going to choke me to death? How are you going to do that? You're going to choke me to death with the 2 fucking stumps that are your hands? Yeah, sure. Sure, buddy. But this seems a little more like it wasn't just some fucking redneck. He was like, I'm going to cut the fuse on this mortar to half a centimeter. I'm going to light it off. Let's go. Flames forced the fireworks to ignite, leading to several explosions, engulfing at least 2 homes and several vehicles on the property, also leading to nearby spot vegetation fires. So this is, I wish I could see a map of it or something, because this is like, you'd imagine that a fireworks facility, yeah, it's like out in the country kind of. So this thing blew the fuck up. Jesus Christ. dude. This wasn't just like this wasn't fireworks going off. This was a fucking bomb. I don't know how it did this. Like, look up the pictures of it. It's like scorched earth for like miles around. Holy shit. And it's like out in the middle of the country, like I was saying. So, like, the two homes that blew up were probably like a mile away. Jesus fucking Christ. Cal Fire in a Wednesday news release, uh, that 7 people remain unaccounted for, and the first responders are working with the property owners to help find them. As of Thursday, California State Fire Marshal said the site remains hazardous. Yeah, dude, we could see that. Look up the picture. Dude, it looks like fucking Beirut out there. Holy shit. Dude, it looks like Obama. It looks like Obama thought this was Syria or something. This is some scorched earth shit. As of Thursday, partly because of all the chemicals linked to the fireworks, okay, and the work crews are doing to neutralize the threat of the crews are doing to neutralize the threat of unignited fireworks. Officially, yeah, dude, this is America's Chernobyl. This is the Trump voters' Chernobyl. This is the greatest disaster we've ever faced as a country. This is the greatest attack on American soil since Pearl Harbor. It's fucking it's intense, dude. Like seriously, like look at this thing. Buildings are still standing though, so that's pretty fucking impressive. You know, if I was a construction company, once again, no, this is a hack bit. Don't care. If I was a construction company, I'd be, or if I was the construction company that built this, I'd be letting the people know, like, yeah, this fucking thing, destroyed everything around it, but our buildings are still standing. I just let people know about that. I wouldn't be bragging about it. I'd just be like, yeah, I made those things. Yeah, you seen the pictures of that? It's crazy. You see the 2 buildings in the background though? Yeah, yeah. It's like someone's crying. Yeah, I can't find him. He's missing. Where'd he go? But do you see the no? Whatever. Maybe he could be hiding in one of the buildings, dude. If he was, look, your son that died in this firework explosion, sad, whatever. I get it. If he was in one of those buildings that I built, he'd still be alive. All right. So maybe think about that. You know, when you're moving to your next home, if just let me know. Let me know what's up. I'd just be putting it out there generally. You know. At the briefing, Esparto Fire Chief Curtis Lawrence stated there were no new updates. Yolo County Under Sheriff Matt Davis spoke after him, saying that the department's thoughts and prayers are with the families. All right, well, how about we... You're the sheriff. How about we stop with the thoughts and prayers and we start looking for the 7 missing people? How about we get on that one? How about we get on that one, fucking Ranger Rick? The fucking, you know, the boss was like, all right, chief, listen here. We got 7 missing people, 2 dead in a firework explosion. And this guy was like, all right, time to head to the church, dude. Time to send one to the man upstairs. No, we're not forming any lines. We're not linking arms and walking through a field calling out names. We're sending one to the most powerful man in the universe, Jesus H. Christ. Please find this man. Well, why didn't they say they were looking for them? Why did they just say they have thoughts and prayers? I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that you're trying to find the people who are missing in the fucking nuclear explosion that just happened in the middle of California. But we do got to look at the upside here. The fire chief's name is Curtis Lawrence, which is, if I was hearing that would be a relief to me personally. It's like, all right, I'm assuming this dude, and I'm seeing a picture of him too, white dude, short hair, classic like fireman type of hair. I'd be pleased about that. I'd be like, thank God it's not fucking LaQuinda Johnson or whoever the fucking, I'm sure that's not her name. The fire chief in Los Angeles or whatever, the one that was like, if I have to carry your husband out of a burning house, he did a lot of things wrong. Like the one that they gave $100 million to and then she didn't help with the fires at all. That lady, I'd be a little bit relieved that we got Curtis Lawrence on the case as opposed to someone that changes their pronouns every 2 weeks. I'm not talking shit about doing that. You want to do that, you can do that. I'm just saying, if I had to choose between the two, I'm leaning towards Curtis Lawrence, and I think that's a reasonable take. Reasonable. And then we got our next article. U.S. Supreme Court clears way for deportations of 8 men to South Sudan. court halts ruling that allowed migrants to challenge removal to countries where they could be in danger. And that's the thing I never understood about this shit, right? With asylum seekers or refugees or people who aren't United States citizens or the citizens of whatever country they live in. Where it's like, yeah, he committed a crime, but if we deport him to fucking wherever the fuck, he might be in a little bit of danger there. And it's like, well, maybe he deserves that danger. You don't fucking South Sudan is like the Wild West. The law doesn't exist in South Sudan. South Sudan doesn't even exist in South Sudan. It's just like a bunch of warring tribes and shit. So yeah, if you're getting deported to South Sudan, you're gonna be in danger, and that's not due to anything that the fucking people deporting you did. That's because South Sudan fucking sucks, and maybe you shouldn't have committed the crime. Maybe you shouldn't have done that one. Maybe you should have just stayed in South Sudan. But the Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to deport the 8 men who have been held for weeks at an American military base in Djibouti to the war-torn South Sudan. Saying war-torn is a bit of an understatement when we're talking about South Sudan. South Sudan, it's not even a country. It really fucking isn't. The only reason it's a country is because all the countries surrounding it don't want people from South Sudan to come in there, so they protect their borders. If it was up to South Sudan, the borders would not exist. It's really not even a country because nothing is up to South Sudan because the government doesn't really exist there. It's not the greatest place to be. To war-torn South Sudan, to a country where almost none of them have ties. Most of the men are from countries including Vietnam, South Korea, Mexico, Laos, Cuba, and Myanmar. Just one is from South Sudan. Then why are why? Maybe this is a question for the Trump administration. But why? So why are they in a fucking military base in Djibouti? If you don't know, Djibouti's in Africa. It's kind of near like Saudi Arabia and shit like that. It's kind of on like the not the northern tip of Africa, but like up there around Africa, right? Like near Somalia, Ethiopia, shit like that. Why? Why is a dude? How did a dude from Cuba get to Djibouti, dude? He must have taken a serious fucking misturn when he was trying to get to Miami. He must have fucking. He must have been like Miami. I always heard it was like 90 miles away from Cuba, dude. It's at least 10,000 miles away. How the fuck did this guy get to Djibouti? The Supreme Court's order on Thursday came after the court's conservative majority last month decided that immigration officials can quickly deport people to countries to which they have no connection. The order paused a district judge's earlier ruling that immigrants being sent to third countries must be given an opportunity to prove that they would face torture, persecution, or death if they were sent there. Well, that's yeah. If you're being sent to a country that you supposedly have no ties to, and you think that they're gonna torture you or fucking put you in prison, then maybe you have ties to the country and you're just lying about it, right? Because if they were like, "We're gonna deport you to South Sudan," I'd be like, "Yeah, I might get killed, right? Because South Sudan is just an inherently violent country." But I don't think I don't think the South Sudanese government is gonna like fucking put me in like a dungeon somewhere and try to torture me to death, right? I might get caught in the crossfire of a little bit of tribal warfare. Like, I don't, I don't understand that. Face torture, persecution. You only really, you don't torture a random person, right? Even if you're like a pure like sadist sociopath, they don't really torture people that they don't know. Or maybe some of them do, right? Some of them are like, you remind me of my mom, so I'm going to torture you now. But other than that, you don't really get tortured unless someone wants to torture you. Not saying it's justified, but I think you're lying about not having ties to this country if you think you're going to get kidnapped and tortured. But that's also another thing, dude. The American government and really most governments can't do a goddamn thing right. Why are we sending these people to countries that they have no connect? Send them back to the shithole they came from, dude. What's the difference between sending them to a different shithole or sending them to the shithole they came from? It's all shitholes, dude. It's all it's all the same. Just send them to the shithole that they came from. Trina Riomutu, I'm really trying to get an understanding of this. A lawyer for the 8 men and executive director of the National Immigration Litigation Alliance, said the 8 men could face perilous conditions and potentially immediate detention upon arrival. 2 liberal justices dissented, Sonia Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Well, that it didn't. You didn't have to say that they were liberal. You could have just said the justices Sonia Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson, and we would have made we would have made the connection there by saying the ruling gives the government special treatment. What the government wants to do concretely is sending 8 non-citizens it illegally removed from the United States from Djibouti to South. Why the fuck did you send them to Djibouti, dude? Djibouti's on like the other side of the world. Djibouti is it's it's not even 1,000 miles away. It's 10,000. Why did they do that? That's retarded. That's very stupid. But it's also like giving the government special treatment. That's the whole point of the government. The government's allowed to do things, whether you agree with it or not. The government is allowed to do things that citizens can't do, right? They're allowed to have nukes. They're allowed to have certain guns that you're not allowed to have. They're allowed to fucking, steal money and launder money. This isn't, they're acting like this is some unheard of precedent. That's like being experienced for the first time. That the government isn't having the same laws that everyone else experiences applied to them. This happens constantly. It's happening right now. Right now, the government is spending tax money on things that you will never know about in your life. So, turned over to the local without, yeah. If you're facing torture there, if you're facing death there, I do understand that, especially when we're talking about South Sudan. I do understand that a little bit, but being like they face torture, I feel like there's a little bit more going on here, right? They first of all, they were sent to Djibouti. It's the farthest place from America. That's that's all you need to know about Djibouti. Literally, the furthest point you can get from the United States is in Djibouti, figuratively. So it's like, why did we send them there in the first place? I feel like that's a more important thing to focus on here than the fact that illegal immigrants are being deported. Why did we send them to a military base in Djibouti? I want to understand a little bit more about these things. So today's order clarifies only one thing. Other litigants must follow the rules, but the administration has the Supreme Court on speed dial. Always has. Dum dum. Where you been? Where you been for the past 70 fucking years? The Trump administration has been seeking deals with various countries to accept deportees that the U.S. government cannot quickly send back to their homelands. The 8 men awaiting deportation to South Sudan have all been convicted of serious crimes which the Trump administration has emphasized in justifying their banishment. Trump's going old school here, dude. Trump, he's a very old school dude. And I'm not talking about old school like the 50s. He's old school like the 1400s. He loves gold. Everything he has is covered in gold. He's banishing people and shit. I mean, seriously. What's he gonna do next? Is he gonna fucking build a fleet of sailing ships to attack the coast of Normandy? Like, Trump's getting straight up medieval on us. But many had either finished or were close to finishing sentences, and and had orders of removal directing them to leave the United States. Yeah, this is the craziest thing to me. It's at a certain point you can be like, okay, well, yeah, illegal immigrants, they're people too, and they're just trying to like be here to live a better life. And I do understand why a lot of people don't want to deport the illegal immigrants, is because they fell for the Koch brothers propaganda that these people are, just regular hardworking people that live like everyone else. No, they don't. They live like slaves because they are slaves. They're slaves to the corporations. That's why the corporations want them here. But I can still, from a distance, understand that. I can understand that you think these are just people that are living like everyone else that the government just wants to rip out of here and just fuck off for some reason, right? I can understand that. But when people defend illegal immigrants who have committed crimes, right? Like if they said they wanted to banish just a fucking dude who, like, I don't know, kept robbing 7-Elevens or whatever, I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with it if it was an American citizen. So I certainly don't care. I certainly don't care in the slightest if it's a bunch of criminals. I really don't. Especially criminals from, let's go over the list of countries here again. Vietnam, South Korea, Mexico, Laos, Cuba, and Myanmar. Aside from South Korea, just one is from South Sudan as well. Aside from South Korea, these aren't just like regular American like these are pretty hardened fucking dudes, right? South Korea, a little bit less, maybe still. I don't really know, but I'm fine with them doing that. It's if they brought back banishment as as a crime for like just a regular like citizen, also wouldn't care at all. And now we're on to our third article of the day, which this one is about Olivia Munn, who is married to John Mulaney. If you guys did not know that, not my least favorite comedian, but he's definitely up there. Olivia Munn reveals newsroom director tried to ruin her career after on-set clash. And this is Olivia Munn. If you're listening to this, and I know that you are, this guy tried to ruin your life over an argument that you had. I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I know what you did do. You ruined you ruined John Mulaney's ex-wife life by yeah, letting him cheat on her with you. And that's a lot of people would be like, "Oh, well, John Mulaney was the one that cheated. She didn't cheat on anyone." It's like, but she knew, right? You can Google it and be like, "Oh, John Mulaney's married," right? He's one of those people you don't have to search through. You don't have to request like a freedom of information request or whatever to figure out that John Mulaney is married. You can figure it out pretty quickly from Google. Right? Google will tell you straight up he's married to this chick and she's a nobody. And Olivia Munn knew that, and she was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna marry this. John Mulaney. He's a little bit low T. I'm not. No, I do hate John Mulaney. I do. I do not like John Mulaney at all. He's very facetious. He's on that weird. He's on a Big Mouth, that show made by pedophiles, right? And I don't care what you say. It's a pedophile show made by pedophiles. Um, he's on that show. He's really, really not that funny. He kind of has one joke where he's just like, "Can you believe that guy said that?" Um, and yeah, I just hate him as a whole. He's definitely like a fucking an NPR lib who doesn't want any of the rules of liberalism to be applied to him. I hate him, and I hate his wife as well. And looking at her, 45 years old, surgery face, I can tell what you got, bitch. Don't try and trick me. Don't think I don't see that fucking eye tuck you had. Don't think I didn't see those fucking cheekbone implants you got. You ain't getting me, bitch. I know what the fuck is going on, but let's read about this. A director Olivia Munn worked with allegedly tried to kill her acting career. Let's phrase that a little bit better. I thought he tried to kill her at first, but tried to kill her acting career in retaliation for their on-set feud. The actress 45 revealed on the Armchair Expert podcast earlier this week that her marriage informed her or manager that that an unnamed filmmaker had been bad-mouthing her to casting directors. All right. First of all, what are the chances of this just being like a chick feud, right? Because at first I thought this dude was like going to people and being like, "If you fucking hire this woman, I'll never work with you again." I think this is just a chick talking shit about another chick. Nothing new. I could be wrong. This could be a gay man talking shit about another chick, but I doubt very much that this is a straight dude. Because a straight dude in this situation, you get in an argument with this chick, especially if you have more power over her, rape her. That's what that's what this guy would have done if it was a straight dude. It's a straight dude Hollywood director 100% would have. I think that's maybe the more important caveat to put on it. Not really straight dude, but like Hollywood director, he would have done significantly worse than just talked shit about her. She said her rep told her, "Hey, you're gonna get the role, but first I guess there's another director who they know, and he says that on the newsroom you were late all the time and really combative." Well, that's clearly just the truth. That's the truth of all actors everywhere all the time. They're all the same. Except for a few of the British ones who were former theater actors or whatever, but yeah, no. This is 100% true. Munn denied the director's claims about her tardiness and chalked up the rest. This isn't it's not he wasn't trying to kill your career. He was telling these people a fact that is well within the realm of possibility, and I would probably believe even if this guy never said it, right? I would probably have come to that conclusion, even though I've never met this woman or seen any of her movies or anything like that. I just assume that a Hollywood actor who's going on a podcast is not is a little full of themselves and therefore thinks that they can do whatever they want, and B, yeah, it's just kind of like tardy because that's a retarded thing to do. That's what tardy means, right? It means that you're retarded. It's retarded to be a Hollywood actor and then going on a podcast. That's unless your career's really in the fucking gutter, which I guess it might be if she's going on a fucking podcast. Still, And now we're on to our fourth article of the day. PlayStation drops 3 free games you can download now in anniversary celebration. I looked up tech news and this was the best that I got. We've not long seen the days of play for PlayStation, which championed playing games on Sony consoles, and we're now entering into another reason to celebrate. Holy shit, this is written by AI. It's some of the other ones, I'll see like a typo or like some weirdly worded thing. Sorry, the cat just looked at the fucking door and I was like, am I getting jugged, dude? No. Um and I'll be like, okay, well that's just obviously a retarded person whose dad, owns the newspaper or whatever wrote this. But this feels like a little bit of AI. July 2025 marks the 15-year anniversary of PlayStation Plus launching, and Sony is starting the festivities by giving us 3 great games to play. These titles are part of your PlayStation Plus Essential subscription, so they can be downloaded and played right now, and the celebrations will continue as the months runs on. Yeah, this was either written by like an Indian somewhere, you know. This was either mass produced in an Indian sweatshop or it's AI. It's really hard to tell at this point. I will always champion Diablo 4, which to me is the headliner of this month. This game had a bit of a rocky start, but constant updates have turned it into a brilliant ARPG with a dark story and plenty to sink your teeth into. Sadly, it doesn't come with DLC. Okay, just tell us the fucking games. They're not going to tell us. Well, yeah, this isn't really news. I thought it was 3 free games for anyone, but if you don't know, PlayStation Plus gives out free games every month anyway. And now we're on to our final article. Brian Kohlberger pleads guilty to murder after admitting to brutal stabbing deaths of 4 Idaho students. Brian Kohlberger, and before we get this started, all right, this is an article from PBS, and a lot of people are mad at Trump for shutting down PBS. And I'm not, and here's the reason I am. The reason I'm not mad at him for shutting down PBS. Because why the fuck is there ads if this is publicly funded? If this is publicly funded, it means the public's paying for it. I am part of the public. Now, do I pay taxes? No. Have I paid taxes in the past 2 years? No. Have I paid taxes ever? No, not really. I paid sales tax. Don't know if that pays for PBS. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, I don't want to be seeing ads on PBS. I don't want to be watching fucking Arthur or Dinosaur Train or whatever the fuck and seeing a goddamn ad. It's stupid. It's the public broadcasting service. It should not contain an ad. I shouldn't have to watch an ad. You have to pay for the PBS subscription, by the way. It's therefore not PBS. It's it's just not anymore. It's just Netflix that receives government subsidies, which is yeah. But anyway, this guy Brian Kohlberger. Let's get a good look at this guy. Real Timothy McVeigh look. Yeah, this guy was definitely pumped out of the CIA MK Ultra clone lab where they make these people that do this shit because he looks, I mean, strikingly similar to Timothy McVeigh, who was the Oklahoma City bomber, if you've never heard of him. Boise, Idaho. Brian Kohlberger pleaded guilty to murder Wednesday in the brutal stabbing deaths. Just got to re-put that over and over again. Of 4 University of Idaho students in 2022 that stunned and terrified the campus and set off a nationwide search, which ended weeks later when he was arrested in Pennsylvania. Kohlberger, who was a criminal justice graduate student at nearby Washington State University, admitted to the slangs before entering a formal guilty plea and a deal with the prosecutors that will allow him to avoid the death penalty. He had been set to go to trial in August. I don't know. I feel like in Idaho, you still might get the death penalty if the judge says you're not getting the death penalty. Because I'm imagine like a judge in Idaho, and it's just like a dude wearing a cowboy hat. It's just whatever dude has the fastest horse. I think that's whoever the judge is. This guy still might get fucking hanged in a tree or whatever. The small farming community of Moscow in the northern Idaho panhandle had not had a homicide in about 5 years when Kaylee Gonclaves, I don't want to say these people's names, rest in peace, dude, were found dead at a rental house near campus on November 13th, 2022. Autopsies showed each of the 4 victims was stabbed multiple times, and some had defensive wounds. And I think a defensive wound means that, like, someone was fighting someone. It means someone fought back against someone at one point. So they were fighting with them a little bit, which I'm not going to say the names of these people. But I think at least two of them are dudes, maybe three. So look, Brian, you're a piece of shit, but also, I mean, it's not four people to death. It's not a not an easy thing to do. Not saying it's good. Not saying you should be doing it. Not everything that's hard. You shouldn't be doing everything just because it's hard to do. But this isn't the most unimpressive serial killer I've ever seen in my life, or unimpressive like massacre I've ever seen in my life. Because a lot of these people that go on like these massacres, especially at college campuses, right? They shoot people, and it's like, look, I'm an American, believe in the Second Amendment. I'm a patriot, all right, believe in believe in it to my very heart. But it's like you shouldn't be doing it for like serial killing, dude. If you're gonna be a serial killer, be like a real fucking serial killer about it. Don't be fucking pussyfooting around it. If you're gonna be a serial killer, if you have that bloodlust in you, be the type that fucking, you know what I mean, really gets in there. Kill him with a fucking piano wire or whatever. Really take him the fuck out. Jesus. Why does it keep saying these people's names, dude? Let them rest in peace. Or I know some people are like, say his name, say his no, don't say his name, dude. He's fucking his family's probably watching this, dude. Don't say his name. Don't keep I'm not saying forget about the thing that the guy focus on the guy who did it. Focus on the murderer in this circumstance. How about that? How about we focus on, killing this guy or putting him in jail for the rest of his life? Family members became increasingly emotional as Idaho 4th Judicial District Judge Stephen Hippler explained each charge to Kohlberger, naming each victim individually. Some cried into tissues while other wiped tears with their hands. That should be others. Kohlberger remained impassive as he confirmed to the judge that he stabbed the four victims. Impassive. I've never heard. From the context, I know what it means. But yeah, not feeling or showing emotion. As he pleaded guilty, some in the family section looked down and others craned to see him. No one had a gun? No one? This guy stabbed four people to death, dude. And this is this is a room full of there was four people killed, and all of their families, I imagine, were there, even if it was just mom and dad. You could definitely have killed this guy if you wanted to. But I guess not everyone's about that revenge life, and I do understand that. Kohlberger told the judge he understood the terms of the plea deal, which stipulates he will serve 4 life sentences and won't be able to appeal. The judge set the official sentencing for July 23rd. Hippler said as the hearing began that he would not take into account public opinion when deciding whether to accept the agreement. This court cannot require the prosecutor to seek the death penalty, nor would it be appropriate for this court to do this. This court cannot force the state to seek the death penalty. So, yeah. And the other thing about it was the other article that I had that was like pulled up, which crashed my fucking computer, by the way. There were so many ads on this website that my computer stopped working, right? Which is either the website had too many ads or I have a shitty computer or maybe both. But the other one that I had pulled up for a little bit was like talking about how he's being sent to like the most brutal prison in Idaho. And it's like, dude, it's Idaho. I think a lot of these people, especially the people that watch Yellowstone, they have this image of like Idaho in their head where it's like beautiful, like rolling mountains and like log cabins and shit everywhere. No, dude, like Idaho, go to Oklahoma and you've basically visited most of Idaho. It's flat, it's boring. Yeah, there's the occasional mountain or canyon or something like that, but it's for the most part, it is what you think it is. You know what I mean? It's like Kansas. I'm from Kansas. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Kansas, the flat, boring, like Courage the Cowardly Dog state." And it's like, yeah, I live in like eastern Kansas where it's not really like that, but yeah. No, you get out west really at all. Yeah, it's it's Courage the Cowardly Dog out there, dude. Eustace and Courage, they're chilling somewhere out there for fucking sure. And I think Idaho is like that as well. There's definitely like the national parks part of it, but for the most part, it's a pretty shitty, pretty poor state too. I imagine like people don't really think of Idaho and Montana and the Dakotas when they're talking about poor states, but yeah, no, they're not the richest states on earth. Their main export is like Asian tourists getting gored to death by elks and potatoes. So not not the richest state imaginable. I imagine most of the prisons in there are gulag-esque, pretty fucking cold most of the year. I don't think, especially in Idaho, where it's all like fucking white dudes, like white country wardens that still call the prisoners boy and stuff like that. Like that's what I imagine. I Shawshank Redemption. That's that's what I think the prisons in Idaho are like for the most part. I think it's all just Shawshank Redemption. And so yeah, this guy's going to Shawshank Redemption. Hopefully he gets shanked or not. I don't really care that much whether this guy lives or dies. But yeah, 4 life sentences, no appeal. Seems about right. That's not something you can really rehabilitate. So yeah, have fun in jail. Uh if you have one of those murder show podcasts, I don't know, shut the fuck up. Just in general, not even about this, just shut the fuck up in general. And but other than that, I hope you have a good day, a good year, a good life. Um, and I'll see you guys probably not tomorrow, probably not Saturday either, if I had to guess, maybe Sunday, but I'll see you guys sometime soon. And I hope everything goes well for you in the meantime. Peace.